Hi, in this screencast I'm going to show you how to cite SIRS decades. Where I found SIRS decades was in the LibGuide that was created for the Decades project. And if you'll look at the LibGuide very quickly with me, each tab is a different decade, but they are all put together in basically the same way. The formatting is the same. So the right-hand side of each decade will have databases and encyclopedias from which you can cite. When you cite something like SIRS decades, it's a little bit different because you have two different options and we're in two different ways of citing different things within that database. So I'm going to show you the differences in this screencast. Okay, let's head over to SIRS database. And what I want to do is I'm going to look at the 1980s. And here's an article about the 1980s called the 1980s Introduction. This was written by the editors of the SIRS decades, and therefore there is not one specific author, and in addition to that we would call this original content. What I mean by original content is this. When you go into Noodle Tools and you select a citation type, and we would select database for this and click create, what happens here is that there's a box that pops up and says what type of source are you citing. So for the beginning and introductory parts of any SIRS decades articles that are available, it's original content. So I'm going to show you that. And then if you look at this, the name of the database, and you just type in SIRS and decades pops in, you just click on that. The publisher is available, the name is available at the very bottom. It's ProQuest. We'll go back into Noodle Tools and we'll type ProQuest. And one more thing I wanted to show you at the bottom of this piece, 2013 is the publication date, and you're going to want to set that into Noodle Tools as well. Now in addition, your 7th grade teachers like you to put the URL, the address for the article. So we're going to open it up, we're going to copy and paste the article URL and pop it right into the URL box. And then when we head down, I showed you once, but I'll show you again. There's no author for this article. There's no author's name at the end. So you would leave the author's name blank. Next, there is an article title. Very easy to do. That's all you need to do is go back up. You could type this, but you could also just copy and paste 1980s Introduction in. And you have now cited your citation for SIRS. Now here's what I want to show you. I'm going to show you the citation. That is not it, but this is it. The 1980s Introduction, SIRS decades. It's right here. So one more thing I want to show you within SIRS is that on the left-hand side there's different topics. If we look at the Reagan and Bush administrations, we're going to click on that. There'll be all kinds of general information about it and then possibly specific information. So we're going to wait till this opens. And if you're going to do an overview of reading the information, you can just read right here, and that's the overview, the 1980s Reagan and Bush. But if you go a little bit further, you will see that there are different articles from different sources that you can also open up. So let's say I was really interested in Reagan and Bush administration and I wanted to learn about the handgun situation that took place during that time. And I see that it says Brady S for 7-day wait for handguns, and that's an article. So I'm going to open that up. And what I want to show you is that this is a primary source. It's a newspaper article. And the information is right here, the title, etc. But to make it really easy for you, that's all you have to do is go to the top left and click Source. And what happens is a little pop-up comes and it gives you the title and the source and the author and the publication date. So now I'm going to show you how you put that citation from SIRS decades into Noodle Tools because it's going to be a little bit different. So let's leave that there. Let's go into Noodle Tools. We'll go back up to the top. We're still citing a database. You can still start with database for this one. But remember that box? What happens is we are now going to cite a newspaper article. So instead of using that original content on the bottom, you're going to click newspaper. Okay? The name of the database is still SIRS Decades. The URL, though, is going to be different, of course. And actually, what I want to do is I'm going to take you back to the URL of the exact article. That would be a better way to do that. There you go. Now what we need to do is we need to go back to the article, and we need to hit that source button one more moment. It's really slow, sorry. And now we can get the information about the article. So the title is Brady Asked for 7-Day Wait for Handguns. So what we're going to do is you can actually copy that information, copy the title, go back into Noodle Tools. Let's find the article title right here. Let's pop that in. Control V. There it is. Now, there is an author. We know that there is an author, and let's check out that author's name. Isikoff, Michael Isikoff. So let's go back and let's put his name in. Then, in addition to that, you can also see some very specific information. It was the Washington Post. You can copy and paste that information. Actually, the Washington, D.C. is just fine in there as well. City of publication, as you just see, is Washington, D.C. You can actually copy and paste that right in. And there was a publication date as well. Let's go back to the article. I think you're getting understanding, November 22nd, 1989. Pop that in. We don't have to worry about the addition. I think there are some pages. Let me double check. Page number A10. We should put that in. Right here, pages. It looks like it started and ended on A10. And that is all you have to do. So now you can recognize that this article from a newspaper was put in and posted into the database SIRS Decades. Thank you for listening.